Unbelievable! Incredible! Unbelievable!
Save! And Spark are champions! Good up, Pepe! Goal!
It doesn't get any better than that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from Game in Frame. I'm your commentator, George Angelidis, as ever, Nicholas Marshall behind the camera. Today's matchup is a Cosmopolitan First Division matchup between Sandzak and KidSuper Samba, the penultimate match in league play in this first division. Let's begin with Sandzak, who begin the day in third place on 41 points. However, they technically have played one game less, as their match against FC Ulkini did not finish, and it's still in question. So a little bit of uncertainty there. On the website it says that 19 games played, not the allotted 20. Therefore, the two remaining games, one is today and of course the last game of the regular season for Sandzak. Of course, they can only focus on the game at hand today and can go 1 point behind New York International if they win, depending on the outcome of the previous match. Like we mentioned, it's still technically not mathematically impossible, as of course tomorrow, as you know, as we will remind you, Polonia can clinch the spot for the APSL, therefore winning the league outright with a win over New York Ukrainians at 2 p.m. at McCarran Park. Of course, a couple of absentees, Coach Hat and the captain Sabovic are suspended. Mirza Sabovic is in the squad. Haris Sabovic, the captain, is out for due to suspension, of course. And a huge game for KidSuper Samba, however, after their 1-0 loss on Thursday to Central Park Rangers. They need absolutely 2 wins, a maximum of 6 points if they were to try to catch Manhattan Kickers, who are on 13 points at the moment. So 2 wins and a minimum of 6 points for them to avoid the drop zone. Of course, the last game of the regular season for them, they will take on Manhattan Celtic, who have a similar tough task, but I believe if just 1 point for Manhattan Kickers, and they can survive in the division for next season as well. Of course, a big game with implications on both sides of the table, and from what I see, KidSuper Samba are a little bit short on numbers, so we'll just keep an eye out on that. Of course, they also played on Thursday night here against the Central Park Rangers 2. So the 3-man crew is ready. Pretty much picture for Sandzak, who are sporting their white kits with blue lettering, blue socks, and blue shorts, white socks, and of course the beautiful kits, as we come to see for KidSuper Samba, the teal pink, if you'd like, combination. They will be in those colors for today's match. The captain for this side today for Sandzak is Kirkic, with number 23 on his back. Of course, their captain suspended today. As the two sides will line up and enter the pitch, as number 75. Quite a quiet day. Doesn't really feel like a Saturday evening. There's an empty pitch to our right, usually filled with melodramatic games here on Saturday nights, and we have one on field 78, third division Cosmopolitan game. So quiet atmosphere, but very important for points wise. I'm also not exactly sure if KidSuper Samba actually have a goalkeeper today. See a man in an orange bib on the team sheet. I have here Goalkeeper is Cleveland. But we'll get to that as the action begins here, as the two sides have walked out on the pitch with the three-man referee crew. Believe in goal, actually, if I'm not making an error of judgment, is the captain of KidSuper Samba, Massington. So that's something to keep an eye out. Let's also see if maybe a goalkeeper for them arrives possibly a bit late. I believe also too they will begin the game a man light. KidSuper Samba. I'm just doing a quick count myself here. Two men down possibly. I believe one. So I'll begin the game a man light. As we're off here, underway at the Randall's Island Field 75, KidSuper Samba in their teal pink kits, attacking from right to left and in possession. And of course Sandzak, like we mentioned, in their white kits with blue trimming. As the first bit of action for Celebi, a double ricochet towards Markovic, who's in the starting 11 today. The man that has really gained confidence in the first squad, actually scoring his first goal a couple games back, and an important fixture to their 11. Kirkic over the top trying to find Matthew Heze. Fullback is asking the goalkeeper to come out to collect, but he does collect. Kirkic. Mikaj. Makic to Kirkic. In the middle of the Sandzak defense is the man on the ball here, the man who scored the late winner the other evening for Sandzak against Central Park Rangers with the number 99 on his back, Kojic. He will be partnered by Muller as this ball is floated over towards Celebi and had a play for a goal kick. So really, Kojic, like we mentioned many times on previous streams, a bit of a wild card, as like we come to understand, the Joker in the deck of cards can play a multitude of positions. Today he's employed at center back, but just some days previously finished like a center forward in a goal of vital importance, as that late winner there, like we mentioned, still gives them a chance for seeding, of course, in the playoffs. But of course, like we mentioned in the pregame, Polonia can clinch the title tomorrow with a win against New York Ukrainians at McCarran Park at 2 p.m. We continue here with the action with KidSuper Samba in some possession from back to the left full back Pathak. Pushes it just gently ahead of him. Presses on. There's a little turn in the middle of midfield. And a further pass to Diao. Diao and Guiti. Couple step overs, leaves it for Diao. And furthermore back, just controlling possession as much as they can. They're certainly playing one man light. Have to run a lot, and when the moments arise, have to keep the possession and of course keep your structure. Here's Diambera's first involvement. Floated over towards a couple runners, and Chelebi, I believe, has a issue. He's hunched over in the penalty area. Slowly getting back up to his feet and walking gingerly. Guiti serves it to the right-hand side. Some space to work with, but coming across was Kojic to intercept. Throw in for KidSuper Samba. The movement ahead of the ball, not really an out-and-out center forward, if you would like, at the moment in the area. Nonetheless, it was dispossessed, and here is Danilo Nivkovic, the standout for the Sandzak goal, a mainstay in their goal. Line splitting towards Markovic. It's dispossessed. Chelebi comes off to try to intercept as well. Chelebi, who's started through the middle today. Some good press, and Kirkic driving towards the byline. Kirkic lifts it into the area. It's beyond Chelebi, high into the air. Little touch before Nikaj can intercept. Now he does. Here's the fullback in advanced areas. Cuts it over towards the top of the box. The exchange was for possibly Nikaj, and it'll just gently trickle out of play for a goal kick. And as we've seen, similar setup for Sandzak with a bit of a 4-3-3, but Diambera is certainly advancing on the left-hand side. Of course, playing with a man advantage can risk in some areas, but similar triplet in the middle of midfield with Makic, Kirkic, and Markovic as well, but really fluid beginning. Here is the captain, Kirkic. Kirkic, lovely weighted pass to Matthew Heze's first touch. Goes backwards to Nikaj. They just have to increase possibly the speed a bit. Of course, when the team rather is playing with a man advantage, everyone can, on the defending side, just drop behind the ball and force some passes. Here's a service into the box towards Chelebi, cleared away. And Samba can think to counter, but they want to go back to their center back, Ngam, and furthermore to stand-in goalkeeper. Once I just glance at the number underneath the penny, I'll confirm, but from what I saw in the pre-match, I believe it's the captain, Mashington, in the goal. Here he is with ball at his feet towards Ngam. Forwards. Kojic has a lot of space to lift his head, and the risen flag. Nonetheless, Kirkic tried to lob the goalkeeper. Nikaj has to just stretch. Nonetheless, the flag was risen. Markovic. Some contact from behind, free kick for Sandzak. In an appetizing position. Makic and Kirkic over that ball to right-footed options, of course. Captain will leave it for Makic over the wall. Good shape, good whip. Just the wrong side of the far post. A lot of distance on that clearance. Chalebi runs out of pitch. Thrown in towards Yao. Going to ground is Markovic. Markovic again a little congested over there. Kirkic will just knock it back to Muller. Pick it up and first time spreads it to Kojic, who has some space to venture into. Kojic on the overlap. Gets his cross in, appeals, and a goal kick. Sandzak can afford to press high now, of course. Have a man advantage, and this one is cleared over towards just below the halfway line. Diombera collects. There he is in possession now, Diombera. Kirkic just dropping in. You can see everyone certainly behind the ball for KidSuper Samba. Needs something intricate. Maybe this is it. Lovely play. Markovic on the top of the box dancing, but dispossessed. And here is Guiti to the right fullback, who's advancing as much as he can in this moment, but the possession is for KidSuper Samba, but now played out for throw-in. And substitution in goal. So the deputy goalkeeper for the time being indeed was the captain, Massington. Now he will go play center forward, as I believe that is Cleveland, who has entered the goalpost for KidSuper Samba. So they did well enough to remain scoreless. Of course, really Sandzak's big chance so far was the Makic free kick. Other than that, they've did well to, in a sense, buy some time for their late arriving maybe goalkeeper. Not exactly sure, but here he is with his first touch. Now, I believe it's level on numbers as well, as this pass is loose. Chalebi, it's squeezing just wide, and what an entrance from the goalkeeper, who's literally just come on the pitch, and a big save to deny Chelebi. Can Sandzak provide something tasty from this service? It's Kirkic's service to the second post. The Umbero's underneath it, just over the bar. Good service from Kirkic. And Mamadou Diombera's contact was firm, but just over the goalpost of Cleveland. Good distance on his clearance. Muller is up. Neat touch from Kirkic. Kirkic to the Umbera. Wins the possession. Mamadou Diombera trying to weave his way through, but Cleveland a little bit risky there, and it's pickpocketed. Chelebi. Flag is down, and the opening goal from Sabovic. Good interception, swift movement, and a clinical finish from Sabovic. And the opening goal for Sandzak. Exactly what was needed for them. One nil to the good for Sandzak. Got to play for a throw-in. Shot comes in from a long way. Pathak from left full back. Certainly Sandzak remaining high up the pitch to press. That's how first goal was created. And almost as well comes off the Umbera, who's cutting it back towards Chelebi. Markovic, and another good save from Cleveland, this time with the right boot. He's certainly entered from the bench, if you'd like, and made two important stops so far, but Sabovic did find the opening goal for Sandzak. Kojic, the Umbera, flicked it towards Kojic, who's going on a little marauding movement. Sabovic, Markovic on the top of the box. Mirza Sabovic almost drove through himself. Kirkic has just remained at center back, realizing that the man here in possession has made his way up the pitch a bit. Lovely weight again of pass from Kirkic. Heze driving, Heze cutting it back. Cushion, lovely, intricate. He's certainly offside there, but good neat play. But the little loose touch, if you'd like, fell to Mirza Sabovic, the goal scorer, who was offside. Pathak. Furthermore, again, good high press. Diambera. The 1 and the 2 with the captain Diambera, cutting it, falling to Sabovic. A whistle. I believe the referee has given a penalty kick right on the goal line. Certainly was in a good position to spot it. And penalty kick is given. The linesman had a good view on that. The whistle was swift. It certainly wasn't over the line, but penalty kick for Sandzak. Makic eyeball to eyeball with Cleveland from 12 paces out. Makic is denied by Cleveland. A third very impressive save from Cleveland. Makic certainly struck it with power. Cleveland chose the right side and got 2 firm hands on it. We remain at 1-0. Seconds, he's coming a long way off his line, getting something on it. Still in place, Sabovic, neat feet. And the corner kick for Sandzak, who certainly have had their chances, have had their moment here with the service towards the second post. A thumping effort, another peel of a handball. It's lashed back in, and it's hoiked over in the end. Kirkic just imploring the attacking trio to remain up the pitch so Samba can just elevate their lines and serve it towards the halfway line. And that of play for KidSuper Samba throw. And of course, today's Game in Frame broadcast is sponsored by Salt Athletic. Salt Athletic have made the world's freshest, most advanced cleat bag. The air case uses antimicrobial technology to block smell, making for odor-free car rides and houses. Salt is offering the Game in Frame community a 10% off discount if you scan the QR code. Keep it fresh as we continue a substitution for Sandzak, with the number 16 Todic has entered, leading the line. Chelebi, I believe, has gone out wide. We'll get to that in a moment. Makic has it with some space. If he can cut it back, he awkwardly loops it into the air. Chelebi was flinging himself at it, but Cleveland was there to collect. Quick bit of distribution and a free kick on Diao. I believe actually Todic is just going to play in the number 10 role. Very fluid system. Can't really put a finger on it. Sometimes it's in possession with 3 at the back and 2 elevated wingers, and of course the overlapping fullbacks if you'd like. Fluid, but so far effective for Sandzak, who are in search for their second goal. Here is Makic towards the goal scorer, Mirza Sabovic. Good contact on it, but swerved beyond the post of Cleveland, who didn't need to create another moment there. But so far, we remain at 1-0. Cleveland's save from the penalty spot. The big moment so far in preventing Sandzak's second goal, if you'd like. And KidSuper Samba tried to create something here from the left-hand side with Pathak. Dropping between the lines to possess. Good little movement here, some space to serve into. Referee's flag is risen. "24 minutes gone here. Sandzak in the lead. Towards Mabadu Diombera. Exchanges with Sabovic. Diombera lengthening his stride to retain the possession. Back to Sabovic. Dancing onto the left foot. Poking it around, but has to win something, and last touch was off him. Goal kick for KidSuper Samba, who actually as well their first team in the APSL has a couple of big matchups ahead of them in the push to avoid the relegation zone. So too similarly here, with a point rather, probably not going to be enough to catch Manhattan Kickers. Need to find something. They need to find the 3 points here, as well as on the other hand Sandzak with the 3 points. If they can find victory here today, will just be 1 point behind New York International going into the playoffs. Let's see this action first with Heze. Matthew Heze on the left foot. Kirkic was coming behind Todic, possibly told him to leave it. Makic towards Sabovic. Dispossessed. Todic is up to press. They have some space to work into now. Guiti had some space ahead of him if the ball was served into that channel. Kirkic. Chelebi. With the outside of the foot to Makic. Ngam got a fair chunk of the ball to just pop it up in the air, and with a second attempt can clear a bit. Kojic, Makic. Kojic's movement. Referee's flag is down. Contact. And the free kick. Certainly favors the right-footed option. They have a couple of them as well. I believe the cry from the Sandzak bench was to leave it for their captain Kirkic, but Makic is also taking up a interesting position, maybe for a little routine. We saw a cleverly worked routine last game in a similar area, but I believe the direct approach is required here from Kirkic. Kirkic through the wall, and beautifully done with glorious cheek. A man with so much quality, the point of difference for Sandzak with that beautifully taken free kick, doubling their tally. A captain delight from Kirkic. Danilo Nivkovic also applauding him from his goal. And they two exchange a little wave and quick thumbs up, the appreciation from the goalkeeper, as that was certainly a beautifully taken free kick. A little loose, the fullback. Sabovic looking for his double. Unselfishly leaves it to Chalebi. Chalebi just poked out. There's the captain, another rasping thump of the football. He's up for it today indeed. His eyes lit up there, and the loose pass found him, and he tried his right foot. Why not, after certainly having the belief of a long-range effort after he saw his free kick nestle in the back of Cleveland's net. Samba now have to riposte. Diao. There's a little issue there, risen flag, as Sabovic was the wrong side of the last man. So Mirza Sabovic and Captain Kirkic, the two goal scorers for Sandzak so far. KidSuper Samba will have a believe they just glancing over at the side of the bench. I believe they don't have any substitutes. Of course, they began the game a man light with their centre forward playing in goal. Cleveland with a couple of very important stops, as well as one from the penalty spot to keep down the score for the time being. We remain at 2-0. Chalebi. And to conclude my point, KidSuper Samba don't have any substitutes, so it's 11 men on the pitch, needing to find some answers. Some defending needs to be done here, and it's offside in the end, as it came off the post. Sabovic's effort first time ricocheted onto the post, and unfortunately on the boot of Diombera, who was in an offside position. Kirkic again. Look at the press, look at the intensity from Kirkic and company. Really, their pressing certainly has been pinpoint. The first goal came from a loose pass, pickpocket, the interception just above the 18-yard area, and slotting it in was Mirza Sabovic. Danilo Nivkovic playing out of the back with Muller, forwards to Nikaj. Nikaj continuing his movement. He's offside. Line was a little bit disoriented there, but in the end, free kick. Of course, guys, stay tuned for more game and frame action. Tomorrow, a big day in the APSL, as the Pan-Cyprian Freedoms can win the APSL regular season title with a win against NYAC, New York Athletic Club, 12-15. That matchup will be played at Traverse Island. Another very important matchup, like we mentioned a couple of times throughout this broadcast. At 2 p.m., New York Ukrainians will take on Polonia in the Cosmopolitan First Division. Polonia can also retain a spot in the APSL with a win, and will be crowned champions of the Division 1. And finally, Central Park Rangers 2 will take on New York International at 4 p.m. And finally, Richmond County will take on Greek Americans at 8 p.m. in All Hallow in Staten Island. Richmond County, who of course took a point last time out against a top of the table side in Pan-Cyprians with a 2-2 draw there. So those upcoming matchups tomorrow, something to keep an eye out on. Kirkic. Diambera has some space. Diambera on the right foot, again denied by Cleveland. It's still in the area. It's not offside, poked in. Now it is offside. Possibly on the rebound. As the linesman just having a chat with Makic. Again, look at this press, look at the endeavor, look at the appetite. Sabovic, the appetite was there, unfortunately the finish not. Cleveland will clear lines. Into the arms of KidSuper Samba's goalkeeper Cleveland. Yao back, clipped in. Pathak isn't judged to have fouled Heze, but Diambera on the other hand, rounds one. Mamadou Diambera continuing and finishing clinically as well. 3 for Sandzak as Diambera gets his name on the score sheet with a educated finish. 3-0 for Sandzak here in the first half, as we have about 10 minutes left in this first half. Also something to keep an eye on is the positioning. If Bologna can secure the title tomorrow, the positioning of the 2 and the 3 seeded teams in the playoffs. But really, I think every team's goal is to finish atop of this division. Of frantic season in the Cosmopolitan First Division, with at times a 4-horse race for top spot. Bologna just recently, after their big win against New York International, the favorites, and can confirm tomorrow with 3 points. As getting cross is not fouled. A couple of step overs entering the box, neat work, and needed Nivkovic to apply a hand. I believe it's KidSuper Samba's first corner kick of the evening. Taken with right-footed in whip, and not what was required there. Goal kick for Danilo Nivkovic. Kojic appeals for a free kick, but we'll have a throw in advanced area. And the shot out of play. Another goal kick for Nivkovic, who hasn't had much to do. His side asking the attacking question so far in this first half, and have been rewarded with 3 goals of their own. Diombera, Sabovic, and he's Markovic, that is offside. Diombera, Sabovic, and Kirkic with a exemplary free kick, and 3 goal scorers so far in this match for Sandzak. Five minutes left in this first half. Maybe a minute or so of stoppage time, as we really didn't have any stoppages, as Heze wins it athletically. Sabovic trying to tease it over toward the captain, Ngam. Comes Samba with Diao, loaded to the right hand side. Good control by Guiti, an overlap coming from the fullback. Number 11 tries to find the center forward, who I remind you began the game at in goal, actually. Massington, that was, but they couldn't connect there. On come Sabovic and company on the other end. A couple of loose passes. Markovic driving into the box. Markovic has just heard Danilo Nivkovic from beyond my back saying imploring rather to Markovic to try his effort. He did, but just off target. Kojic's touch. Nikaj back to the man from Montenegro, Danilo Nivkovic. Muller. Markovic had a little trouble with the control, but will go on to press. And KidSuper Samba will have a throw in. Of course, we have a whole second half left to play and lots of football left in this game, but if this result holds, the real winners, if you'd like, of the day are Manhattan Kickers, who will be safe, as probably the 2 teams going down will play in the last game of the season, KidSuper Samba and Manhattan Celtic 2, of course, who, of course, both of their first team sides are playing in the APSL, like we mentioned. KidSuper Samba have a couple of very important games, and of course a last one actually against Doxa, who are at the bottom of the APSL table now, and Manhattan Celtic, their first team, have locked in the 4 seed, if you'd like. Neat pass with the outside of the foot. Wingers demanding the ball to drive into Pathak. Is possessed by Kirkic. Kirkic to Makic. Makic over towards Matthew Heze. Gadot comes across, will win his possession. Gadot driving in, going to ground. So to another bit of contact, and free kick for KidSuper Samba to try and cause some discomfort to the Nivkovic goal. Play short. Gado. Loose. Muller. Makic. The outside of the foot, neatly done. Kirkic is just slowing up his run because Cleveland was favored to get there first. Gado. Kirkic trying to lob the goalkeeper. Intricate idea, but overhit. And that is the halftime whistle, ending on the attempt from the man who scored a beautiful free kick. Other than that, however, 2 more goals for Sandzak to get to 3-0 to the good. Here's Sabovic opened the scoring with good high intensive pressure from Sandzak, dispossessed, and a clinical finish from the number 7. So too followed the captain with a spectacular free kick, and the 3rd goal coming from Mamadou Diombera at halftime here at Randall's Island. Sandzak in the lead over KidSuper Samba, 3-0.
My name is Austin Brummett. I'm a men's soccer player at San Diego State University, and I play forward. The Salt Air Case helps block odor from my cleats when I'm driving in my car or when I'm keeping my cleats inside my house, so I don't have to worry about it stinking up my room. It helps me keep track of my cleats and my shin guards so I know that they're together, and I don't have to worry about tracking them down or losing them or stressing out about where they are. I would definitely rock this, walking to the games, walking around to my trainings. And it's super helpful for travel. When I travel in the airport to go to away games, it's not going to stink up my backpack or stink up the plane where I'm sitting. Magnetic strip on the top is super easy to open to take my cleats out and to put my cleats back in. I think it's an essential part of my outfit for soccer, and it helps keep all my stuff organized and stink-free.
A quality highlight reel is crucial for college and pro recruitment. A lot of services offer generic solutions, but at Game & Frame we know every player is unique and needs a personalised approach to win over coaches. Our process is simple. We work with any footage, and if you need help finding your best plays, we'll review games for you. Once we've finished, you'll have a reel you can upload to any recruitment platform. We've helped hundreds of players get the attention they deserve, including placements in Division 1 programs. Scan the QR code or email us for a free consultation and start the journey to maximize your recruitment potential.
Quick release for Hernandez. You know Hernandez is going to get there. Got some work to do. It's one man taking on an army, and it is Hernandez. He took on hell with a squirt gun, and he quenched the flames. Justine Nunez Hernandez, an impressive stamp on the match.
Foxy. There's a shot, and K-Zune beats it away again.
About it. They don't want to let this opportunity pass, not equalizing. Fake shot, fake. The 3rd shot, low and a goal! A couple dummies and a low shot makes this game 1-1.
right side, isn't it? Can he bend it around the wall? He's gone for it, and it's tipped over the crossbar. Lovely fingertip save by Perez. Let's see if it's enough to stop them. Joe Holland. Once again, Perez called into action.
Now trot, cross. Oh my word! What a goal! What a team goal from New York International!
Back to the captain with a lot of space. Crossed inside, using his chest. Aristotle Zazulin to the rescue. As now his defensive expertise put to the test. Diaz trying to shield the ball away from Diallo. Diallo squeezing past. Still with the assist. Goal! South Bronx United.
The ball is back into play. Beautiful work, Winder with the nutmeg.
There's room to move here. This is Waring again. Waring puts it into the middle. Doggart! Doggart! They can't clear it off the line! Orson Doggart puts the finishing touch.
Shango can't quite keep it. Yo, pick it up. Dangerous area. Malachi with a shot. Beautiful save from the keeper.
Now he's on. Kamara's on sides. Kamara gets around the keeper. This could be it. Could finish. It's 2. That's the final whistle. Polonia seals the deal in the last kick of the game. What an effort there by Kamara.
Welcome back, guys, for the second half kickoff here, which is imminent. As we're underway here in Randall's Island for the second half kickoff, as Villena will cushion it back to Cleveland. Sandzak in the lead, 3 goals for them so far. And again, a similar press to begin the second half for Sandzak, who certainly, of course, given the uncertainty of their game that didn't conclude against Ukini, really business-like today. And here's a 4th goal for Krkic. Business-like indeed, and a 4th goal for Sandzak. Krkic at the double, as Sandzak have their 4th of the evening. I also believe, I'm not exactly sure, I just have to recount again. I believe KidSuper Samba are actually playing a man light again. do a quick count. I believe one of their players walking away from the pitch as Kirkic is on a hat trick. Can he find his hat trick? Kirkic with curl. Almost the moment. Certainly, if there's someone that could create a spectacular curling strike, it's him. On a double so far. Cleveland will clear lines. Indeed, they are playing a man light, I believe. As Cleveland will now collect it. Muller, Diombera, Sabovic. Kirkic. Flag is down. Sabovic. Sabovic dispossessed, and Gam is on the floor. So maybe they're asking to put the ball out into touch, but he's slowly getting back on his feet. Guite, first time back to the right fullback, Vilena. Hodges' touch. Celebi will retain the possession. Celebi, Kirkic first time. Toric teasing one towards Mirza Sabovic. The flag is risen in any case. Vilena. Gado. Heze pressing. Nikaj, who's playing a centre-back role over the top towards Mirza Sabovic. Back to Cleveland, and the ricochet will aid the goalkeeper. Cleveland towards Vilena. Diombera up. Muller off the shoulder of Vilena, and he'll pop it out of play to touch. Makic. Diombera finds the captain. Muller. Trademark and misjudged, leaving some green grass for Heze to drive into. Matthew Heze, 5. A truly crisp connection, and the 5th goal for Sandzak, again started by their playmaker in Kirkic, who served a delight to Matthew Heze, and he's gone over to the bench to the elation of the Sandzak staff and supporters. A 5th goal for Sandzak. businesslike, and like we mentioned in the pre-match, the uncertainty of the previous game, that still waiting to see the conclusion of it. The conclusion of this action is an offside on Chelebi. They certainly took care of business here today, and unfortunately for KidSuper Samba, low on numbers and probably going down in the division, but deflection possibly, yes, is the answer. Their last game will be against Manhattan Celtic, the big winners of the day, if you'd like we mentioned previously, are Manhattan Kickers. Tomorrow, Polonia can clinch the title with a win over New York Ukrainians at McCarran Park. And of course, New York International will take on Central Park Rangers. 2 for playoff seeding, if you like. Kirkic's delight again. Cleared away towards Guidi. Matthew Heze, another rasping effort. Cleveland's clearance, out of play. Substitutions for Sandzak, Sabovic, and I believe Todic will be replaced by Kojic, who will play at centre forward. Began the game at centre back, a versatile player, doesn't need to be said, can play a multitude of positions. Can he get his name on the score sheet as well for Sandzak? This man is also on a brace. Here is Kojic, who has leapt in from the bench, and there it is. That man simply does it again, coming off the bench and entering his name in the score sheet, putting his name on the score sheet, going over to embrace a supporter. Kojic, the man that leaps off the bench and strikes clinically without hesitation. A 6th for Sandzak. We said it and he delivered. Kojic, Sandzak's 6th on the day. Towards Guidi, out of play. Makic on the turn. Chelebi on the half turn. Guidi, the overlap coming from the fullback. And of course, Sandzak's last game of the regular season will be played on May 18th against the Manhattan Kickers. . Possibly a further 3 points there can propel them in second place should New York International not win tomorrow. But still, a lot to play for. Free kick. Makic with a helping hand. Villana, the man that was fouled, up trying to advance from his right back slot. It's certainly difficult playing now a man light. The Umbera flick. First time. Back to Gadot. Again, even at this score, press is certainly still on from Sandzak, and free kick. Quitty. A couple of players from the Sandzak reserve side have also been asked to take part today, of course. In a situation like this, can really filter out the roster if you'd like, and rest some bodies for their last game, or maybe Kojic again. Maybe if the game against Ulkini will also be played from the stopping point, not our as Cleveland will clear lines. Of course, today's Game in Frame broadcast is sponsored by Salt Athletic. Salt Athletic have made the world's freshest, most advanced cleat bag. The air case uses antimicrobial technology to block smell, making for order-free car rides. As Salt is offering the Game in Frame community an exclusive discount, 10% off, if you scan the QR code. Keep it fresh, Samba. Trying to at least cause Nifkovic some discomfort. Here's a shot towards Danilo, who collects comfortably. Good distribution to Chelebi. Over towards Matthew Heze. Flicked neatly. Kojic will leave it to the Umbera, but the flag is risen. The Umbera charging down his man, Guiti. Muller on his right side. Makic. Possibly, maybe thought of an effort from there, but Cleveland was in adequate position. Makic, reverse to Chelebi. Pirouetting in the 6-yard area, back to Makic. Makic on the turn towards Matthew Heze, cuts it to Kojic, who will apply a finishing touch. 7 for Sandzak. as Kojic lifts Heze, the distributor, to his finish, as a couple of players are down for KidSuper Samba. As Sandzak find their 7th. Of course, tune in for more game and frame action tomorrow. New York Athletic Club will take on Pan Cyprian Freedoms at 12:15 at Travers Island. With a win there, Pan Cyprian Freedoms can win the regular season, excuse me. Of course, the first, as there is a playoff as well in that division, but they will mathematically claim the title there. Let you see this action first as Chelebi towards Kojic. Diombera leaves it out of play. A big match, like we mentioned, New York Ukrainians, Polonia, 2 o'clock at McCarran Park. With a win, Polonia can book their place in the APSL and also be champions of this very first division. Central Park Rangers 2 will take on New York International at 4 p.m. Of course, a big game for New York International to apply pressure should Polonia not get the 3 points there. And finally, we conclude with Richmond County against New York Greek Americans at 8 p.m. at All Hallow, a APSL Metropolitan Conference matchup there. 64 minutes gone here. Cleared away by Cleveland. Diombera. Muller on the chase, so to Markovic, but the fullback retains the possession and will find the teammate. Gado. Guiti. I believe actually, now that I'm just having a glance at the team sheet again, I believe Diao hasn't re-entered rather in this match. So too reason why they're playing a man light in this second half. Nonetheless, we continue with Chelebi with his head up. There's Sabovic, who began the scoring early in the first half, towards Kojic. Clever dink, but out of play. Neat idea from the center forward. Ball on the far hand side. Samba trying to get there first. A couple of step overs, a reverse towards the left hand side. Flag is down. Trying to maneuver and manufacture a yard of a limb, but transition is certainly stretched now. Look how much space Kirkic has. He elects for Mirza Sabovic. Unselfishly rather, towards Diombera. 8 for Sandzak. Substitution as well for Sandzak. Matthew Heze has come off, and another substitute for Sandzak. Gado. Diambera just going over to Gado for a quick word. Of course, in a situation like this, with one game left to be played, both teams want to have as many possible players available. As we mentioned previously, that Haris Sabovic, the captain, is not featuring today due to suspension. But his namesake, Mirza, on the score sheet, as well as Diambera, Kirkic, Heze, and Kojic. Muller. Some applause for Kirkic, who is replaced. Certainly warm applause for the captain. And the captain's armband is delivered to Tojic. Certainly a very impressive performance from the stand-in captain, if you'd like, but a man that showed his class time and time again in our Game and Frame streams. His first, his side's second, an absolute beauty, and possibly an early shout for a goal of the month. Long way to go in that respect, of course, but it is the last month, if you'd like, of matchups here in the regular season. One game left for both of these sides after this match is concluded. KidSuper Samba will finish the year out against Manhattan Celtic 2, and so too Sandzak's last game will be against Manhattan Kickers, who are mathematically safe from the drop now. Diambera continuing his work, and will win aside a corner kick. About 20 minutes left to be played. Todic will deliver towards the second post. Diambera, and Cleveland gets an all-important touch over the post. Another corner kick for Sandzak. Towards Mamadou, who leapt. It's off the post, awkwardly off the post. Still dwelling in the box and finding the back of the net. Sabovic again. Markovic. Has it? The Umbera. Offside. A couple of players actually have gone off the pitch for Samba, so I believe the match will be concluded possibly earlier than expected, but for the time being we continue. Maybe that's what's being mentioned to the referee. Linesman here ahead of us is just having a quick glance. So possibly 73 minutes in here, this might be it for the match. Still have 17 or 18 minutes left to play as the referees will go over to have a quick chat. And that is indeed the final whistle. Premature final whistle, but of course in the lot of the game, Sandzak with a 9-0 victory, business-like from them, with, of course, we mentioned in the pre-game, one game less on their schedule. We're gonna have to see that in due course, but today's business was done promptly. Spectacular goals, lots of them, to also bolster their goal differential. Final score here at Randall's Island Field, number 75, Sandzak 9, KidSuper Samba 2-0. Thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned for an interview.
My name is Austin Brummett. I'm a men's soccer player at San Diego State University and I play forward. The salt air case helps block odor from my cleats when I'm driving in my car or when I'm keeping my cleats inside my house, so I don't have to worry about it stinking up my room. It helps me keep track of my cleats and my shin guards so I know that they're together and I don't have to worry about tracking them down or losing them or stressing out about where they are. I would definitely rock this, walking to the games, walking around to my trainings. And it's super helpful for travel. When I travel in the airport to go to away games, it's not going to stink up my backpack or stink up the plane where I'm sitting. Magnetic strip on the top is super easy to open to take my cleats out and to put my cleats back in. I think it's an essential part of my outfit for soccer and helps keep all my stuff organized and stink-free.
A quality highlight reel is crucial for college and pro recruitment. A lot of services offer generic solutions, but at Game & Frame we know every player is unique and needs a personalised approach to win over coaches. Our process is simple. We work with any footage, and if you need help finding your best plays, we'll review games for you. Once we've finished, you'll have a reel you can upload to any recruitment platform. We've helped hundreds of players get the attention they deserve, including placements in Division 1 programs. Scan the QR code or email us for a free consultation and start the journey to maximize your recruitment potential.
Quick release for Hernandez. You know Hernandez is going to get there. Got some work to do. It's one man taking on an army, and it is Hernandez. He took on hell with a squirt gun, and he quenched the flames. Justine Nunez Hernandez, an impressive stamp on the match.
Foxy. There's a shot, and K-Zune beats it away again.
About it. They don't want to let this opportunity pass, not equalizing. Fake shot, fake. The third shot, low and a goal! A couple dummies and a low shot makes this game 1-1.
Right side is net. Can he bend it around the wall? He's gone for it, and it's tipped over the crossbar. Lovely fingertip save by Perez. Let's see if it's enough to stop them. Joe Holland. Once again, Perez called into action.
Now trot, cross. Oh my word! What a goal! What a team goal from New York International!
Welcome back, guys. I'm here joined by Matthew Heze and the captain, Kirkic. I'll begin with you, captain. Of course, an important game today. We said in the pre-match that there was a little bit of uncertainty as on the schedule has that you guys have played one game less as the match with Wilkini. We're still going to be determined. What was said before the match, of course, in a little bit of uncertainty, but you also had to take care of business today going into the last game of the season.
So it's very important to go step by step. What they're going to decide about that game, we don't care. We're going to show on the field how we're going to play and how we're doing the job. This is not the first season we're doing great. This is the third, I think, in a row. So we're very close, and I think this is not the first season happened some things like that to us. Last year happened, if you remember, in the final, red card in the 28 minutes. So we don't care. We're going to show on the field how we're doing, what we have to do, and what we have to show. That's only things we have to do. Congrats to my players. Very good job. We're going one more game, so let's see how it's going.
Well said, and of course I have to ask you about the free kick. Beautifully taken free kick, your team's second goal. Of course you guys scored 7 more after that. Did you see the goalkeeper set the wall in a certain way? What goes through your mind as a free kick taker, as it was off center, but it did favor, of course, the right foot and yours clinically taken free kick?
To be honest, I have to say the goalkeeper did a great job before that free kick, and I just thinking it's very close to go in the first corner, so I just shot strong in his corner. It's go beautifully. He cannot do nothing, but he's an amazing goalkeeper. I have to agree with that.
Well said.
I'm so happy for that.
Very well said. And Matthew Heze, of course, new signing in the middle of the year, I believe it was. I'll begin with this. How did you find your first days, first matches as a Sandzak player, and did you feel more comfortable as we saw your quality in your previous team as well? And talk to me a little bit about your goal, as I saw you got a warm hug from the bench. They certainly applauded it very warmly.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when we first came in, we're trying to figure out where they're going to implement me in the field, either left wing or striker, and now we're playing with the new formation. It's been going really well. I'm dynamic on the sides, so we've been playing this formation the last 2 or 3 games, and it's been working out for us. Excited Kem has all his faith in all his players. We're a team, we got each other's back.
And now that you mentioned the formation, I was actually trying to pinpoint it. Was it a 3 at the back? Was it a 4 at the back? But of course on the wings, yourself and Mamadou very versatile up and down the whole pitch. So of course it just shows the quality, and of course that everyone can play a different position at times. We saw Kojic begin the game at center back. He finished center forward, scoring a goal. That's just the team unity that Sandzak implores, right?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we got to look at what we're capable of. So I mean, we have Mama, who's got a lot of pace on the left. I got a lot of pace on the right. And we take turns, when we take turns and we're attacking teams one-on-one, honestly, I think we're unstoppable that way. But we gotta take every game as it counts, and next week's very important for us.
And of course, one final game on the 18th, and then the playoffs. Of course, if Polonia don't win tomorrow, it opens the door. Of course, and of course, you're going to go 1 point behind New York International, who also play a tough match tomorrow. Of course, put the pressure on and continue from there, right?
Sounds good. Yeah, we're going to put the pressure on. We're not going to let down. We got one more game, and hopefully we make the playoffs.
And lastly, I'll finish with you, Captain. Of course, playoff seeding. Of course, 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3. Technically, you want the home field advantage to, of course, finish as high as possible. But if and when, rather, the playoffs begin, is there a new mindset in that sense?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
The playoffs, when the playoffs begin, is there a new mindset given that it's a playoff game, or it's one more game and we continue as we've been doing?
We're just playing one more game, and I don't know for the playoff how it's gonna be, but we are just care now about the league. That's the only thing in our heads. Playoff is very important for us as well. First things, it's hoping they're gonna lose. Polonia is gonna lose tomorrow and open the door to the last game. That's the only things. I wish them luck, but I don't. So that's the only thing I have to say.
Very.
And one more thing is, please, fans of Sandzak, please come to support us last game. We were very close. Please. Thank you so much.
Very well said, guys. Congratulations. 9-0 victory. See you guys next week.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for tuning in. That was Matthew Heze and the captain for the night, Kirkic. Sandzak 9-0 victors today over KidSuper Samba. They put the pressure on, and we'll see tomorrow how the results go. Of course, Polonia with a win tomorrow can capture the title and go to the APSL should they want. And of course, the big game, the second game, New York International will take on Central Park Rangers. For today, on this very field number 75, Sandzak victorious with a lot of goals, 9-0 final score. Thank you guys for tuning in.